Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're in for a treat today. We've got Andrew, Chris, and Ben, three men that, in my books, are absolute champions. This podcast, this YouTube, this interview that we're going to do is to help men that have been through where they're an experience where their family dynamics have changed, where they're being a father has actually changed. So I just want you fellas to quickly introduce yourself, and then I've got a few questions to help men that are maybe now have blended families or maybe having their first Father's Day with their dynamics have changed. So who wants to go first? Ben, what about you, mate? Tell us, quickly introduce yourself, please.
Hey, how are yous? I'm Ben from the Gold Coast. Been separated now over 2 years and just taking it day by day and trying to enjoy as much as I can when I've got my boys as
Yeah.
possible. And
So you've got
yeah,
three
just,
boys.
yep, three boys,
And what are their ages, mate?
4, 10, and 12.
Yeah,
So
terrific.
yeah,
I'm
still,
looking forward to asking you some questions, mate.
yep,
Thank you for that. Thanks for coming on today. Chris, what about you, mate? Tell us a bit
Yeah,
about yourself.
yeah, Chris from Brisbane. I have three children, girl 13, a boy 14, and a boy 16.
Yeah,
Separated 5 years.
yeah,
It was amicable, so yeah,
yeah.
and
No, good
still
man.
single, so
And you're a business owner. You're juggling that as well. That might be something we'll get into as well. Being a single dad and juggling a business, that might work. And Andrew, mate, who the heck are you?
Andrew, based in Northeast Vic, moved here as part of or post separation or working through the mediation process. Three kids, boy, girl, boy, 8, 11, and 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So awesome, mate. Terrific. And I suppose everyone who's listening, these three men, the reason I've asked them to come on and share their experience and their wisdom is because they're men of character. Okay. I know their heart for their children. And really all of it, three of you have great comeback stories, so we can learn a lot. So I suppose, for the men that are, they're like have separated from their families going into their first Father's Day, what would be, I suppose, a suggestion? What about you, Chris? You've probably had the most Father's Day since the divorce. What would be your biggest tip, mate?
if it's the first one, just try to get a bit of a plan before
Yeah.
going in. And I mean, this is not just relevant to Father's Day; it's like any other
Mm,
special occasion when the kids are involved. So try to have an idea and try to plan. I'd say
yeah.
um, plan the day out. Whether you have your kids, whether you don't. Um, time. Everyone's got different situations on custody and things like that. So go into Sunday having a clearer idea on how you want it to play out. Whether if you don't have your kids around, what time you want to speak to them, or just things like that. Try to just pre-plan and think about it a bit.
Mate, can I ask you, because you've had, 5 Father's Days or, 5 years, have you had times where you haven't had your kids or have you had to negotiate that? Like, how's that looked?
No, I've been quite lucky. My separation was pretty clean,
Mm,
very amicable,
yeah,
and yeah, it was very amicable, and we probably communicate better now than we did
yeah,
when we separated. So
yeah,
yeah, for us, communication's been we're on the same page with
yeah,
that
good man.
sort of thing, and with our children, I suppose our separation was all based around. A lot of it was based around the children, so they're at the forefront. I know that's a lot of people don't have that privilege, and things change, but I've got to say I was lucky with the way that mine went. It's probably went as well as it could. So yeah, I can't really comment on some of the other
Yeah, no, that's all
options.
good. That's good,
Yeah.
good. And what about you, Ben? How many Father's Days have you done, mate, since the
Two.
operation? Two, yeah,
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 two so far.
yeah,
The first, I guess, I was still in a bit of shock. There was a lot of changes going on, and my biggest goal was just to hold it together for the day for them,
yeah,
to try and give them something to start new memories, so to
yeah,
speak, with this new dynamic. And I tried to keep it pretty simple with a few new things, but also because of all the changes, I gave them a few choices as well. I included them in the planning
yeah,
so that they felt like their opinion stood for something at the time.
yeah,
That was the first one, and yeah, to be honest, some of it's a bit of a blur. I don't know whether I'd sort of blocked out a lot from back then, or
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember pancakes and going to the park and
yeah,
just all those things together, and I just remember it being peaceful because it was just
yeah.
us,
Great.
and there was no arguing, there was no I guess anyone being forced to do something they didn't want to do. We just had a nice time together, quite
Yeah,
peaceful dinner.
yeah,
And I'm sometimes guilty of trying to pack too much in a weekend.
yep.
So I didn't try and over cram it with activities and things like that. It was just a nice, peaceful day together.
Yeah, yeah. As you're saying that, mate, one of the we're sending out an email. Would have already been sent out actually by the time goes live. But and one some of the things I've been saying there for suggestions is don't overplan
Yep,
it. Yeah, it gets so rigid, and like what you said, we're creating and another tip is to start to create new
yep.
traditions, new things, which is, mate, you're doing great. That's good. That's good. And Andrew, mate, what about you, mate? Heading into that first one, what's your
Yep.
experience?
Yeah, look, I'd probably touch on what Chris and Ben have said in the way that there's probably a couple of components. One is around a bit around planning, have a rough plan. We were lucky in the fact that we had a tradition. Went to the local show for
Yeah,
Father's Day because that was every year.
great.
I guess for all the stress that I experienced back then, Gav,
Yeah,
I'm not sure I remember it. Like
no.
we spend so much in our first year, we're analysing everything. The comments
Mm,
I'd say, look, absolutely plan something, but what do we really want? We want to be present with our kids. We want that not overwhelming. We want that sense of calm. We
yeah,
want that sense of regulation. That's really
yeah,
what we want.
yeah,
So I'm completely guilty, the same as Ben. I overplan stuff, which
yeah,
I'm probably prone to doing too much
yeah,
and then wearing myself and the kids out. So,
yeah,
but I would certainly say going into that first year, prepare yourself as best you can, both so that you're the best version of yourself, whether it be go in well rested, but also to, if you can, have a think about what traditions that you want going forward. And that can be literally as simple as catching up with your family, if you've got family around you, um, or friends that support you, get involved with them. It doesn't need to be anything too crazy insane. Some of the most simple pleasures that you can connect one on one with your kids. I mean, some of the really great connection things I've done with my kids have been as simple as playing frisbee one on one or kicking the footy. It doesn't need to be big spends. It can be really, really simple. So, yeah.
yeah. And I think as well, like we're always saying, kids spell love, TIME, with time. And like you touched on it as well, I've put in that email about being present, putting, our phones away or technology away so that
Mhm.
we can listen. We can, obviously get involved in great conversations. And I suppose, like traditions comes up, it can be a very traditional thing. One of the things that I endeavour to do is always think. I mean, you guys know me well enough to. I've always got a story in my back pocket. So how do you guys like? I mean, even Andrew, I know your dad passed away this year. You know, I mean, how do you guys? Are you guys getting together? Any stories or great stories about your fathers, or when maybe you were children, some great things that happened? I mean, yeah. What are your thoughts on that? Have you guys experienced anything like that?
I guess for me, that's probably something we've tried to integrate into their life when the
Yeah,
opportunity presents. So,
yeah,
I mean, my dad, it probably was something we'd done previously at times as well. Dad was a keen fisherman in recreation. He was keen around horses, so we integrate that in other places in their lives. But
yeah,
um, yeah, I guess for the first one, I think it was a focus on us, Gav. I mean,
yeah,
we try and integrate
yeah,
those older relationships where we can,
yeah.
but then yeah, just build what we need to build for ourselves to get through that
Yeah.
tough period too.
That's
So.
good. And Ben, you talked about that first one being, just well, what I heard was simple. You went to the park, you spent time together just on your own, because I know some guys sometimes being on their own isn't good, you know. So I
No.
mean, since then, like you've done two, or maybe even you, Chris, you know, like you're a couple of years in. How have you gone about? I suppose since that first one maybe having other people, family members, or even other dads with their own kids. How have you gone? I suppose with that aspect of it.
Um, I guess, well, one thing I did try and do was join a dad's group on the Gold Coast originally.
Yep,
I found that it was hard to connect with anyone.
yep.
Honestly, I'd reached out to a couple of people, but most of the guys I spoke to were more interested in catching up for drinks away from their kids.
Ah, okay.
One thing I noticed women do really well is stick together
Yep,
with their kids as well. A lot of the guys I interacted with were more interested in doing activities without their kids and socializing, where
right.
I looked for play groups and things like that where dads were welcome. It doesn't exist. Things
Yeah,
on weekends. Yeah, so that was a bit tough.
yep,
My partner last Father's Day, we stayed down at her place. She lives at Kira Beach,
yep.
and we didn't do anything special again other than spend time together. But the best part I remember is what we had: breakfast pancakes, we had a sausage sizzle for lunch, we played at the beach, and like you're saying about time, Andrew, she gave me that second set of eyes. So having three kids, I did get a bit of time to spend with them one on one, and that was really special.
Yeah,
So yeah, that presence and time, something to try and maintain, and little things like not taking them to the shops, planning to make it simple, like Chris mentioned, um, and just having things ready to go so that we're not taken too much away from that time when we're together doing chores or formal things.
that's good, mate. And I suppose just thinking about it, anyone who is listening to this right now, if you have got any questions, type it in the comments. And I'm sure if I don't see it, one of these guys will see the comment and we'll do our best to answer the question. But Chris, what about you, mate? What are your thoughts now? Like because I mean, you've got the most experience here, mate. You're doing fantastic. What's some things you'd maybe do different, or you feel like you could have improved on?
Definitely the presence thing, being present at when you the first year, like Ben and Andrew said, they're all bit of a blur actually because you're so
Yeah,
caught up in all the emotion of what's going on, and I suppose that's what we're doing this podcast for
yeah,
is yeah, because thinking back, it's such a blur and it can be a bit of a
mm,
mess, and I probably would have alcohol probably would have been a part of that weekend somewhere, maybe the night before if I didn't have the kids, and probably not being as clear headed, or and like you said, Ben, like men's groups as well that yeah, mainly um, focus around catching up for drinks and that away from the kids, which isn't really being present. So yeah, so a lot of things around that's changed for me now over the years, and with that comes a whole different type of clarity and being present with the kids. So that's definitely one thing that I would have changed over the years.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
suppose that's a good plan. That comes down to like when we started, all you guys said, like, have a plan. And that could be a very good thing is to, all right, I'm not going to drink when I've got my kids. Like, so that you are present, doesn't it? It creates
Yeah.
that space where, all right, you can listen better. So that's brilliant. No, I appreciate you guys coming on here. This is gold. So like, what about to those guys that maybe are struggling with maybe access to seeing their kids? How would you guys, have you guys got any experience around that where you had to, I suppose, be firm?
Threats, yes. I had my kids for Mother's Day also,
Okay.
the first one. And I felt for them that day, to be honest,
Okay.
because they were sort of treated like a second thought.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
hard.
yeah, but I guess, yeah, from my point of view, I've got access to my kids anytime
Yeah.
because she's either overwhelmed or struggling or
Okay.
not, or maybe has other plans that are,
Right.
potentially more important at the time. But for those, yeah, I really couldn't say how I'd react, to be honest. I haven't been in that situation, but the guys I have seen go through it that have not given up have got to the end, and you've seen them, walk a very hard road. But I've seen a few guys give up too, and just walk away from their kids and regret it.
Yeah.
And it's like we've all had moments where we've had to hold the tears back until they've gone to bed and
Mm.
then let it out when they can't see. But yeah, just don't give up. That's
No.
all I can say.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst hell you've ever been through right now, but they're waiting for you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So just
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. And what about you, Andrew, mate? What's your experience around that?
Yeah, so I guess I've always seen my kids on Father's Day, and like we did have to fight in, and we didn't do we didn't quite get to court, but spent a lot of money in mediation and things to get the time that, well, significant time with my kids, and through that process, I think the advice I'd say is do your best work on yourself. So there was a period there for a good few months. And look, I've never been a massive drinker by any means, but socially would. And I stopped drinking altogether and focused on, I started going to the gym, I try to surround yourself with genuinely good people. Like there'll be those people in your network that you probably would have had a blowout with previously and just let off some steam. Now there's maybe a time for that, but I'd say, look, just focus on being the best version of yourself. And for me, that was working on fitness, getting good people around me. And some of those will be family. I found I did have some family that were really helpful, but also some really good friends stepped up to the plate and just, yeah, be kind to yourself. Like, I found it was by far the hardest thing I've ever been through, and we're in a better situation now. And a lot of things that there was times there where I just couldn't see the way through, and I just sort of say, well, look, as you know, Gav, when you're in that situation, just take the next step because those kids, they'll need you one day. They need you now, but you'll be an important part of their life again.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Good, that's good. And even something that I put in another podcast I did, where I went through. I started off with, I think, 10 tips. I ended up with 12. That's what happens. Even the email I've done. But I thought, even to the, because some stories that I've heard where men have not seen their kids for years, for whatever reason, they didn't know where they were, for a period of time. But, writing a letter on Father's Day, even though you don't know, you don't even know where to post it, but writing, it just helped to process how, the what they were going through, and then of course being able to give them that letter years later, so their children knew how much they were loved along the journey. Was able to heal some process. So it was helping the process of healing. So, but
But I think
go on,
just on
mate.
that, Gav, I think something, a big learning of mine, it was actually a learning related to my kids with my daughter's emotional regulation, was around the comment, name it to tame it. Now, that sounds like a really good throwaway line, but as men, we use profanity often to explain how we're feeling.
Yeah,
And sometimes being able to name those emotions and exactly how you're feeling,
yeah,
it somehow releases something inside you to say that I am feeling betrayed or
yeah,
like
yeah,
hurt is a simple one, but you can use some of that stuff to explain it, and being able to put that on paper and then
mm,
read through it has a massive. I mean,
yeah,
it's something for maybe another podcast, Gav, but there's a massive improvement in doing so, and
yeah.
something that I probably should have done more of early. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, a book that I've been reading, and I've been reading it for years, but this one, this one thing this one line that stood out to me recently, and it says, "Pause when agitated or doubtful."
Mm,
And I think quite often I've done things, and I thought I wish I could have articulated that a little better.
mm,
Because emotion could be heightened, and particularly around days like this. So I think, you're spot on, mate. If you can name, hang on, I'm annoyed here. I think I'm just not going to speak for the next 30
mm.
minutes. So
Yeah, and the
yeah,
respond, don't react, which is easier
mm,
said than done. So
yeah,
Yep.
I still
yeah.
don't do that perfectly.
And I think that's what's important for a lot of men going into this, is like what you guys said, have a plan. And I would say, plan not to be on your own, or plan, like I said, don't
Yep.
end up with a group of people and you get drunk, and then your emotions are all over the place. So, yeah. So what else, gentlemen? What else? I mean, I've got some more questions, but I want to hear what's coming up in your guys' mind. What about you, Chris? What's coming up, mate?
Um, so I have a pretty good relationship with my ex, and
Mm,
having the children whenever I want is no issue. We have 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 50-50, and I think, and over the years, it's still harder, but I'm very privileged. But I'd say it's important to still try and work all the time on those relationships, just not Father's Day, and just because you can't see him Father's Day, um, don't give up. Just, I mean,
yeah.
you've constantly got to work on that relationship with the kids, and and with the and with their mother as well, because that shows, as hard as it can be, that teaches them in a way about relationships, and you don't want the kids to see a lot of what goes on in the background, because there's some
Mm,
pretty nasty stuff that's happened in the background in a lot of relationships and that. But just coming from, at the moment, like I say, I've been talking to my ex a couple of times a day, just with something with my daughter. She's been really unwell for a while now, and just having that, like having that communication. I don't think either of us or my daughter could have got through what has happened, if we didn't have that sort of open line of communication somewhat, and weren't arguing. So it's a little bit digress, but it's definitely worth just constantly working on the relationship with the
mm,
kids, and even with the mother, in a way, um, just working on all the relationships. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be, talk every day, but, as good as you can make them is beneficial for everyone, including yourself.
Yeah. And it reminds me of something. I'd love to get your guys' take or your experience on this, because I remember a guy, in his words, spinning out, right? Where he went to pick his kids up, in the morning from his ex's place, and another man answered the door. And he's like, "Who are you with my children? Who the heck are you? Why are you there in the morning? You know, and and like, he got a shock. He spun out, and not in the best way. But I suppose, how have you guys gone with, maybe there's somebody else on the scene. Maybe you've got another partner, or she's got another partner. What's the best way to, I suppose, navigate those waters? Who wants to go?
I'll speak. When I met my partner, we decided to spend a bit of time together without the kids being involved.
Yeah,
We were both in agreement that we wanted to see how things went along the path before the kids were involved, just so they wouldn't have, either a feeling of
yeah,
competition or being replaced. And
yeah,
the kids have had a lot of say in things. Unfortunately, my ex-partner at the time had someone else, and the greatest problem I had was the phone calls in the middle of the night with the kids crying, police being involved.
yeah,
Got pretty serious, and just thought it was never going to end. So that was quite draining. And now that that's ended, there has been a bit more peace for them. But yeah, from my side of view, the kids have always had a voice. They haven't felt like they're stuck in a situation they don't have any control over. And in my house, they have a space that's theirs. So yeah, they get to have, to a degree, a say in
yeah,
how we spend our weekends, how who comes and goes. Well, at the end of the day, it's my decision who's in their lives,
yeah,
but they also have a say in that as well, because I don't want them. I know, growing up with a split family,
yeah,
as a kid, sometimes you get pushed aside for parents to go off, and maybe it's a bit exciting being newly single,
yeah,
and they're trying to relive years that they missed out on, and the kids sort of get forgotten about. So
right,
that was my focus, to make sure the boys knew they were very important. And I'm lucky that my partner feels the same way with her son as well.
yeah.
Um,
That's good.
so yeah, kids are a priority.
It's a credit to your character, mate. It's awesome. And what about you, Chris, mate? How have you gone with new partners, or particularly around this day as well? We talk about how have you navigated that, mate?
Yeah, very similar to like what Ben said about not introducing straight up, but just to
Mm,
touch on something, I suppose it's no matter what's happening within the dynamic between the mother and the father, but the kids like consistency, and if they're not, you can only control what you can control. So whatever's happening over there, sometimes it's out of your control, but I think it's your job as a father to give them the consistency when they're with you, and step up, like what Ben was saying. Over there was some things not too good happening, but when they
mm,
came to him, they got that consistency, and yeah, and they'll remember that as well. They'll definitely appreciate that and remember that, and they crave that. So yeah, that was you can only control what you can control, and you give them as much love and consistency and as you can, and they'll appreciate you for that. So
I think one of you guys said before about creating new tradition, or maybe more of his creating new traditions. So I think if we've got that open mind that we're going to create something new, I think no matter even dads that have been, that their families are together, it's still time to make it new and fresh and whatever. But even like something that I was thinking of just then, Chris, as you were talking about, and even Ben, that scripture in Corinthians where it says act like a man. It says uh, be on guard, be alert. It says, that that kids feel safe. I suppose that people feel safe. It says stand firm in your faith and stand firm in your beliefs. Like if they see you do what you say and say what you do, that gives them confidence. And it says do everything with love, be courageous. Be of courage. I think if our kids can see that going through these times, man, that creates a great Father's Day. That's confidence. And I mean, what I want to say, and we'll go, this might be a good one for you, Andrew. I mean, good one for all of us. But it talks about it in Ephesians. And I think this is a good time where we show our kids, because in Ephesians 6, it talks about honoring our fathers. And it actually says why we should honor our fathers. And mate, I don't know who this is for, but I feel like I should say it. When we show our children how to honor our fathers, not just what it does for us and shows them, but it says when we honor our fathers, it actually says good things will happen to us and that we'll actually live a long life. I mean, that's in the Bible. That's a promise. So I think if we can show our kids how to live a long life by honoring our fathers, man, I think that's something. So I mean, even like I said, with your father recently passed away, Andrew, it's a good time, isn't it, to show our kids how to honor. So I mean, mate, what are your thoughts on that? I'm putting you on the spot around.
There's a fair bit there, Gav. You mentioned that there was a mention just with Corinthians. I think there's a good point that you've made about standing firm and how we interpret that as men. So I think we need to acknowledge there needs to be good regulation on our behalf, because I think for me, going through that period, I think as we all are, we're trying to set us we're preparing ourselves to meet that new partner, and sometimes the challenges aren't that. It's the high conflict co-parents, mum or dad, that are baiting you to react. Like I think we need to slow down, stand firm, um, just slow up a bit, and make sure that you can be that regulated person. Which it makes me sound like I'm really good at this all the time, and I'm not. I can assure you that, but we're trying to be that person so that the kids see the best version of us constantly. Is probably what I would say, and then. Yeah, certainly. We always had the aim to show, or I always had the aim to show the kids who my father was, and then when he did pass, look, it was some pretty awesome having them engage with some of those stories, but also some of those old photos and things that Dad achieved in his life is pretty awesome for them to realise that potential runs through their blood, like runs in their veins. That potential lives within them. They can do the things that he did. They can be as crazy or as reckless or as focused as he was. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And I think, when we talk about legacy, because every man is leaving a legacy, but we
mm,
get to choose what we're going to leave. And I think if we can draw on those stories from our fathers, their fathers' fathers, like we can really, I suppose, if we can get familiar and articulate all the good stuff, like you said, the legacy that is in them, man, that's something. I think that's something to really almost like we want to create new traditions on Father's Day. That's something we can do for sure.
mm,
All of us can. But I suppose, like I said, having a plan and thinking about those stories, man, that's what it's about, I think, And of
mm,
course, asking our kids, what do you think about that? How do you feel when I talk about your grandfather in such an amazing way? So
mm.
yeah. But gentlemen, what else? What else have we got? I mean, again, if you guys that are listening, watching this on YouTube, type in the questions, like what questions you have for these mighty men. So
Mm.
what else, gentlemen? What's coming up?
I think probably one other comment I'd say, look, going through that period, as I'm sure Ben and Chris were the same, it's really easy to burn the candle at both ends and just end up in this absolute exhausted mess.
Yeah.
Now, if you are, if you're in that space if the kids aren't with you all the time, and even if they make sure you are doing something that refills your cup, because it's something that I'm guilty of now.
Yeah.
Go on hammer and tong, and then when I do see the kids, I'm not the best version of myself. So whether that's connecting with nature, going for a walk, or getting in the gym,
Yeah.
whatever that sport was that you made you passionate 5 years, 10 years ago, reconnecting with that. Make sure that you do reconnect in that space and look after yourself. Genuinely look after yourself. Not just have a venting blowout session. Make sure you're actually looking after your health and mental fitness as well. So
No, that's
And
gold,
it's
mate. I think
it's definitely like it's new seasons at the end of the day as well. Especially if you're newly single, or it's yeah, everyone's learning and rediscovering themselves and constantly growing and evolving. So yeah, like Andrew said, you should be looking after yourself, or making the most of that, the not so good opportunity, or the position, not so good position that you're in, and do something positive, to grow and go forward and look after yourself.
well, that's it, mate. Our kids and our community are looking at all of us, seeing how we handle these situations, these challenges, this change that's happening. So if we say this change is a good thing, chances are our kids will be able to see the good in it. So it's hey, being a man, there's a lot riding on it. Being a father and a man, it can be a big weight. So that's what I believe we can't do this on our own. I'm yet to see a man, a successful man, actually do this on his own. So yeah, you guys are doing great. And I suppose, Ben, mate, what would be your last bit of advice?
I'm guilty of trying to be 3 steps ahead of everything all the time.
Yeah.
And put out fires that haven't come up yet, and that's draining.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a situation yet that hasn't worked out okay in some way, shape, or form.
That's right.
So don't put too much pressure on yourself. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Whether you make it to Dream World or the Sunshine Coast or halfway across the country for that big plan, if you're stressed the whole time dragging them through an airport or worrying where you left your phone or things like that, that's what they're going to remember. Sometimes a simple walk down the street, or like you guys said before, kicking the footy, things like that, has more of an impact than these grandiose ideas we have. And things go wrong. They smash things, spill things, break things, get lost, make us want to pull our hair out sometime because it's us that's not communicating properly with them. It's all going to be okay.
And what you going to say something, Andrew? Go, mate.
Oh, look, sorry. I was just going to say exactly what Ben's alluding to. Being well regulated in those moments, like them seeing you see the whatever it is. It might be the cup hit the deck and smash into 1,000 pieces, or the plate when you're stressed cooking tea, and they just see you stop and laugh and just don't like it's absolutely human nature. Our brains go to worst case scenario when worst case scenario rarely if ever plays out. So just, be kind to yourself. Make sure that you are the best version of yourself for those kids, which is easier said than done. So
I'm guilty of all those things regularly, and not always in a good way. But I got given a Nicorette spray today by my partner, and that's already seeing results. So
look, I think the other one is as you know, Gav, is what do? We lone wolf it through that period. So Get genuinely good people around you. You'll know you'll have. I mean, I was lucky going through that period. I had a bunch of really good mates that had kids at the same school,
Yeah,
same age, so it was really easy to align with those.
yeah,
But over that journey, just make sure there's people that you generally regard as good people, because that will you'll be the. I mean, if you've got 5 good people, you'll be the sixth. Just make
yeah,
sure you're doing that too.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, that's good, mate. Very good advice. And I suppose, like, what I would, in sort of in closing, what I would like, because, man, we could keep going on and on, which is fantastic. Hence why I'm putting out a lot of content over the next few days before Father's Day with this. So if you're not getting the email, make sure, shoot me a message and make sure you're getting that email, which will help you heaps preparing for Father's Day. But one thing, even just listening to you, great man, I think a good thing would be is almost the day before Father's Day, have a day off. have a complete rest so you
mm,
go into Father's Day rested and not stressed and not tired, so that you do respond well to, like you say, when somebody cuts you off or whatever happens. That would be a good one. Make sure you rest before the day. So, gentlemen, have we missed anything? Do we need to add anything? I mean, everyone watching, leave a comment. Let me know. If you have any questions, I just want to encourage these fellas. But what else do we want to talk about before we get on through the rest of the day? What do we got?
Reach out if you're struggling,
Yeah,
like that lone wolf Andrew mentioned. If you are having trouble, reach out and tell someone.
yeah, yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
Good
that
man.
Yeah,
might
and
just help. Yeah,
there's
the,
the groups as well. Like the men's advice group. There's yeah, there's groups out there to reach out to.
Yeah,
mm.
yeah.
I
No,
think it's a really important point, Gav. As you and I have talked about it. I thought I was cutting this new path where no man had been before. Like what a laugh that was. Here we are with 2 other great blokes that have
yeah,
been through the same story. Like, the bravest thing you can do is ask for help. And
yeah.
when I started doing that, it was amazing how many people had been through a very, very similar journey,
Mm,
and then having the opportunity to meet with like-minded men, or men that have been through similar things, through
yeah,
men's advice and meeting you, Gav.
yeah,
It's been awesome. It's been a massive part of my learning and my healing and my journey that's made me a better father and a better man now. So,
yep.
yeah. No,
And
You
terrific.
need
also,
to
all
meet
of
them
us
after.
know. Oh, sorry, mate.
No, you go.
You go. All of us know what we've been through, and you wouldn't want someone else to go through that. So if there's a lot of us will help if we can in some way, shape, or form, because we were there. Maybe not the same experience every time, but I had a few people reach out at random times that was a pick me up I didn't know I needed, and
mm,
yeah, it was amazing to be thought of, and yeah, it was
Yeah,
great.
finding them early in the piece.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, because I went through a fair bit, before I got into the mentorship and stuff, and that change put me on a good trajectory. But
Mm.
yeah, some like you say Andrew, like you feel like you're the only one, and then like at the other end, yeah, every second person you talk to is like, oh yeah, yeah, that I was like, oh, if I knew, like
Yeah.
it would have been a lot easier. Um,
Probably a question I'd have for Chris and Ben too. How many people did you have in your corner that you didn't know would step up for you that did step up for you?
oh yeah,
Like, I had people offer me, like, I had offers of houses to live in, like, shortly after, from people that I wouldn't have regarded as close friends
yep,
that would step up, and they stepped up for me and my family. Like, you'll have more people in your corner than you realise,
yep,
but you won't know they're there until you speak up.
yep. That's
yeah,
absolutely right.
the ones you don't expect either, or the ones that acquaintance or not more acquaintance or
Mhm.
people, and then you'd be like, wow, you know,
Mm,
and it's
People
genuine
at
as
work.
well. It's
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, like you say,
And
people at work and just random people.
yep,
and
mm,
and I think, gentlemen, that could be maybe the most important thing we actually show our children is to actually accept help, ask for help, to be an example of, hey, we haven't got all, we don't know it all. We need to learn. We need to continue learning. I think that's possibly the best thing we can show our children. You know.
Yeah.
So
If there's a lot, probably the final comment, we keep going on, Gav, but I know there was times where I simply couldn't see the way through. Like,
yeah,
I know you said it, Gav. It'll be all right. I remember chatting to one of my aunties, and she said, "Look, Andrew, it will be okay." And I could not see for the life of me how it would work out. I just couldn't see it.
yeah,
And I'm confident that any man that does the work on themselves, just
yeah,
digest it for a bit. Be kind to yourself.
yeah,
It'll be all right. It's going to take some time, but it will be okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then I think Gav said to me as well when I've been in, quite unwell, that you won't know why this is happening to you, but it's happening for a reason, and
yeah,
you can't see it right now. But it will make you a stronger person, and you'll come
Yeah.
out the other end a better person. What was the Steve Jobs quote about? You can't join the dots looking forward, only going backwards. You can't see what the dots are all about going forwards, but only going backwards. But yeah, you won't feel like it at the time, but it will make you. Yeah, you'll come out a
yeah.
better person or a stronger person.
All right. Hey, listen, you guys are amazing. Now go and love your kids. All right, man. Hey, everyone watching, leave a comment. Any questions? There's so much in this. You could watch this interview again and again, and you'll continue to learn. So, gentlemen, thank you. I honour you. Thank you for your sacrifice. I mean, you know what you guys have the growth you've had from, what looked like not, a hardest thing in your life, the growth that you've had has just been amazing. So I want to just say thank you again.
Thank
Over and
you,
out.
Gav.
Ciao.
Thanks, guys.
Bye for
Thanks,
now.
guys.